Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Fan Disaster. This is Battlefield 1. In today's Weapon Showdown, we're going to be taking a closer look at all available sniper rifles in Battlefield 1 to try and figure out which one of them is the truly best one. Now, there can be an argument, of course, made that there isn't a true best one, and as such, we're going to be performing a more general analysis today on all available sniper rifles, the different sniper rifle categories, what entails and makes each sniper rifle, and of course, which one you should necessarily be choosing depending on your playstyle and the situation you wish to use the rifle in. Now, in the sniper rifle comparison, we're only going to be looking at the marksman and sniper variants because the iron sight variants are to some people simply not as good, and to others involve different factors and are slightly played differently from the normal sniper variants out there. The exception to this rule is, of course, the Martini-Henry infantry, everybody's favorite Scout 10 unlock for Battlefield 1. Now, no weapon showdown will be complete without this weapon, and as such, we have to include it in today's video. Speaking then of specific guns, we're going to be starting off with the more close quarter orientated category of sniper rifles, and I should mention here, close quarter here is relevant or relative to the actual Scout class. We're not talking about assault range engagement distances, we're talking about close quarter for a sniper rifle, which means anywhere, I'd argue, from 30-40 meters out to maybe 100 meters. Now, these categories aren't clearly defined, and what DICE has done in their weapon balance is essentially create a nice gradient of weapons that slowly leads up to long range. With that being said, some of these weapons you could easily argue belong in a different category. For example, the SMLE, some would argue belong more in the medium range category. However, for the purpose of today's video, we're going to split them up as I have indicated. Starting off then with this close quarter category, which includes the Martini-Henry, no surprises there, the Gewehr M1903 Marksman, and the already mentioned SMLE MK III Marksman. If you want more details on the stats or associated playstyles for each one of these individual weapons, I will link down below in the description all of the weapon reviews I've done on each and every single one of the weapons we're going to mention in today's video. With the exception of Martini-Henry, all of the stats are up to date. They haven't been changed since I made the respective videos. In the case of the Martini-Henry, it has received essentially a slight damage buff in its sweet spot distance, making the one-shot potential more reliable. However, other than that, everything should be up to date. With that being said, and already having mentioned the Martini-Henry, let's start with this. The Martini-Henry is a special kind of beast. It's basically a strong point combined with a numerous weak points. Its fire rate, the lowest for the Scout class at Battlefield 1 at 23 rounds per minute, one of the lowest muzzle velocities at 440 meters per second, quite literally half of what some of the better sniper rifles have out there, and to top this all off, a magazine of 1, a long reload, and of course a iron sight only sniper rifle. The advantages you have of this, of course, is a beautiful sweet spot damage range all the way from 30 to 80 meters that essentially allows you to one-shot kill your enemies in those ranges. Now, this comes with an added bonus since the recent patch. Not only are you going to be one-shot chest shotting them, but as with other sniper rifles, you would expect when you shoot them usually in the arm or from the side, you may actually not get the kill because you're not getting the full damage multiplier. When you hit somebody in the arm, you only do 95% damage of what you usually would do at that range. Not so with the Martini-Henry, at least between a select range. Essentially, the Martini-Henry has a 2-tier damage system with between the ranges of 30-80, you getting a one-shot kill if you hit them with a chest, and then a slightly smaller range in between that where you can even get a one-shot hit if you hit them, for example, in the chest by shooting them first through the arm. With that being said, then, what is the Martini-Henry good? Extreme close quarter, but single targets. It's a very different sniper rifle to many other out there, and it's difficult to say if it's clearly above and beyond all other sniper rifles, so clearly superior to them if you know how to use it correctly, or very much clearly inferior because of its very limited application. That's for you to decide. One thing is for certain, the Martini-Henry can be a hell of a lot of fun to use. I love using the Martini-Henry. However, it can be very difficult to use, and unlike some of the other aggressive sniper rifles, close quarter sniper rifles that we're going to be talking about today, it is not flexible in its appliance. You can't miss a shot. If in close quarter you miss your shot with the Martini-Henry, there's no point in doing pretty much anything else. That assault player that's just rounded with that corner is going to kill you 100%. Moving on then to the next, the Gewehr M1903 Marksman, pretty much the opposite of what the Martini-Henry is. It doesn't have a special or especially different sweet spot damage model. For a matter of fact, it has no sweet spot damage model, but it comes with one of the highest fire rates for sniper rifles in Battlefield 1. Very much the opposite of the Martini-Henry. With 66 rounds per minute, you can shoot your shots faster. It comes with a limited magazine size of 5, but nevertheless, what makes this gun so good and aggressive is not only that it comes with a marksman scope, and is thus great for close and medium range because of the perfect magnification that you have for those ranges, but it comes with a quick fire rate, which means quick two-shot body shotting people is much easier with this gun than other guns Furthermore, it basically comes with what you would from Battlefield 4 call a straight pull. You don't have to disengage your optic between shots like you do with most other sniper rifles in the game. Last but not least, then the SMLE MK III Marksman. This gun is in here because of its sweet spot and its overall flexibility. It doesn't have the highest fire rate, 52 rounds per minute, but it's solid. Its sweet spot damage model isn't amazing like that of the Martini-Henry. It goes from only 40 to 75 meters. Nevertheless, that's a great range to be having a one-shot kill if you're going for more aggressive play. Some would argue this is more towards the medium range, and there is clearly an argument for that as well, but for the purpose of this video, we're going to be comparing it as well in the close quarter category. This weapon is one of the most flexible sniper rifles out there, and as we will talk about that a little later, you can already remember this weapon is definitely a candidate for the all-rounder king. It's not only its damage model or its sweet spot damage model that makes it great, it has the largest magazine of all sniper rifles in Battlefield 1 at 10 shots. It's easily used, its muzzle velocity, while not amazing, is still solid at 740 meters per second, and its rate of fire, as already mentioned, is average. So basically, it's a combination of decent and very good stats, which is always a good basis for a sniper rifle you want to use in many different situations. Now, to talk specifically a little bit more about the close quarter element, what's important for a close quarter sniper rifle? Well, first of all, if we're talking about sweet spot damage models, the sweet spot has to fit that role. The sniper rifle also has to fire relatively fast. The Martini-Henry is the exception to this, but it makes up in the damage department for it, and it doesn't necessarily have to have the best muzzle velocity, but a decent magazine size, for example, is beneficial. It also comes bound, frankly, to the scope. You can also use something like the Gewehr 98 for something like close quarter if you put on the Marksman edition. It's just not necessarily, thanks to its sweet spot damage model, the best option for it. When using these close quarter weapons, you want to make sure that you can take advantage of the sweet spot, but they allow you more flexibility in the range that you can more likely get on an objective and help your team capture something when compared to the more long-range focused sniper rifles out there. Having talked about the close quarter sniper rifles already in quite a bit of depth, then let's move on to the more medium-range sniper rifles, and there's actually, strictly speaking, much to my disappointment, only really one sniper rifle that perfectly fits that category. Now, some would argue the SMLE is in here as well, and I think that is a valid argument to make. But as said, the SMLE is a very flexible weapon, and that's why it fits in so many categories. The weapon that very truly and most definitely belongs in the medium range category, however, is of course the Russian 1895 Sniper. Another sniper rifle that most of you will be using out there, and one that is a very competitive and certainly once more a candidate for an all-round favorite sniper rifle. Its damage model, or I should rather say its sweet spot damage model, allows you for a one-shot kill to the body from 60 to 100 meters, which is a great distance once more to be able to one-shot kill people. It comes with a decently high fire rate, 56 rounds per minute, higher than the SMLE of course, and a very good muzzle velocity at 820 meters per second. Not only is this gun capable of dealing out damage at medium range thanks to its sweet spot, and it has the option of course of a full sniper optic, which means you're going to be using anywhere from a 6 to a 10 times magnification scope, which while not great for truly aggressive play is still usable, but best suited of course for medium to long range play. This gun is a truly beast and very flexible. I love using the Russian 1895 in a variety of situations. Yes, I'm not necessarily going to storm an objective with it like I would maybe with the M95 or with the SMLE, but I'm still capable of helping out my team on the objective. I can get close enough. At the same time, I can take out a target 150-200 meters away without a second thought, without having to massively readjust or maybe even respawn and use a different weapon. The Russian 1895 Sniper is a flexible weapon, but of course its strength, thanks to its sweet spot damage model, lies at medium range. Moving on then to the last category of weapons that we're talking about today, the so-called long-range sniper rifles. And there's two weapons for us to consider here, the Gewehr 98 Sniper and the M1903 Sniper. Now, both of these weapons have sweet spot damage models that go best for long-range shooting. Well, I say relative long-range shooting because, of course, when you ask a sniper in Battlefield 1, well, what's a long-range headshot for you? They'll say 200, 300 meters, maybe 400. Of course, these sniper rifles don't have a sweet spot damage model at those range, but amongst the sweet spot damage models, they are the longest range options you have. And namely for the Gewehr 98, this means a one-shot body shot kill between the ranges of 80 meters to 125, and with the M1903, this means a one-shot body shot kill between 100 meters and 150, the most clearly long-range version of them. They come, of course, with fire rates that are not too impressive. That's to say, there's not that big of a difference between these, for example, with the SMLE or Russian. However, they do have very good muzzle velocities, especially the Gewehr 98 at 880 80 meters per second. The bullets on this gun are flying fast, and it allows you, of course, to shoot long-range targets moving much more easily because there's less lead to consider. Furthermore, things like lower fire rates or longer reloads, which aren't necessarily the strength of these weapons, aren't as important because you're usually, when using these guns, at least in their true design fashion, not necessarily as important. The M1903 comes with the added benefit that it has a slightly lower drag coefficient. What this essentially means is that your bullet is going to lose height less quickly. In other words, you have to aim above your enemy's head to a lesser degree on this weapon when compared to the other sniper rifles out there. So having talked about the sniper rifles in their individual categories, and obviously you knowing which sniper you are, which one should you choose? Should it necessarily be one weapon and always stick with a sniper rifle? And while there is an argument for using the perfect sniper rifle for the perfect situation each time, meaning that you essentially play almost all of these sniper rifles on a regular basis, constantly switching out for them, as it will cover in a more detailed video on sniper tactic and sniper tricks coming up soon, there is also an argument to be made to sticking to one or even two sniper rifles, simply to get used to both the magnification and, most importantly, the muzzle velocity, as to ensure that you can, at longer ranges or even medium ranges, reliably hit moving shots. As we'll see in most of the gameplay in today's video, and generally in my sniper gameplay, I have a difficulty hitting or perfectly timing longer range moving shots. Long ranges can already be 100 meters in this case. And that's because when I play Battlefield 1, partly down of course to the fact that I am also a YouTuber and do weapon reviews on all the different sniper rifles, I'm constantly switching out which sniper rifle I'm using. And as such, never have been able to get perfectly used to one set muzzle velocity. So when you choose your sniper rifle, you may want to consider either taking one of the more flexible ones or taking one that fits the situation. There's two different ways to go about it. The choice is fully yours. As I already alluded to earlier, however, there's an argument to be made for the most flexible, the all-rounder sniper rifles, and there's three sniper rifles I'd like to pick out from this category. One will be the Gewehr 98 Sniper, the other obviously would be the Russian, and the last will be the SMLE Marksman. Now, why am I mentioning all three of these weapons? Well, in my opinion at least, they're the most flexible amongst the sniper rifles. You're never wrong using the Gewehr 98. Heck, even in close quarter. For a matter of fact, the Gewehr 98 comes with a Marksman edition, which means you truly can use it in close quarter. It may not have the best fire rate, and you may less frequently be able to take care or make use of its sweet spot damage model. It's nevertheless a solid choice. And when we're talking about flexible usage, you are assuming, of course, that your combat or engagement distance varies, which means that the sweet spot becomes less important, and there's more of a discussion about general performance at all ranges. And a high muzzle velocity is one of the true indicators of a good sniper rifle, and is always beneficial independent of engagement range. The same goes for the SMLE. Here it's not necessarily a strong muzzle velocity that makes this weapon so attractive, and it's also not a hugely fast fire rate. It's a combination of the sweet spot damage model that is so very beneficial, because despite us now looking at a, of course, flexible sniper rifle, a lot of your targets, if you play sniper either normally or semi-aggressively, just not passively, will be in that sweet spot range, allowing you just to more efficiently get kills. But it's also down to the fact that you have a magazine size that is just simply double the size of any other sniper. Once you start engaging larger numbers of targets, you become appreciative of that larger magazine when comparing it to other sniper rifles out there. Last but not least, then, of course, we have the Russian. And the Russian 1895 is just one of those sniper rifles that once you use it, it's difficult to get away from it. It's a true mix of all traits. It has a high muzzle velocity, 820 meters per second. It has a decent sweet spot damage model, although arguably not the best for all-round combat, because medium range targets there is only a medium amount of. But it also comes with decent reload stats, decent fire rate, and just an all-round good feel to the weapon. This is at least my personal experience. Would I necessarily nominate it for the most flexible of all weapons? Possibly. Honestly, I can't make the choice on this. Now, these three sniper rifles, despite all being flexible weapons usable in any and all situations, are distinctly different and will distinctly differently perform in different situations. And while we can always say there's one best weapon, that truly would be foolish in the case of sniper rifles in Battlefield 1. Now let me know down below in the comments what you thought of this video, as well as necessarily what your favorite sniper rifle is. Are you an individual that likes to switch up sniper rifles and uses a different sniper rifle depending on the day of the week? Or have you stuck with one sniper rifle and have decided that is going to be your sniper rifle for now, and from now on you're only going to use that? I, for my part, have now settled on the SMLE, the Russian, and the Martini-Henry, arguably because I can't make up my mind and can't really decide which of the three is the best one to use. The Martini is usually the funnest, the SMLE and the Russian arguably the most effective. So let me know down below in the comments what you prefer, as well as, of course, your future video suggestions as per usual. But with all that being said, this lengthy video now coming to an end, I'd like to thank you all very much for watching and hope to see you in the next Battlefield 1 video.